Vasily, take second squad and repair the field phone wire. I'll clear these buildings with first squad and meet you on the other side. Go!
With the head of Hitler with a rope around his neck. Hey, round, round, Hitler's grave, round, round we go. Gonna lay that poor boy down, won't get up no more.
Hello and welcome to Leftbox 360, a channel where we review every single game we own from a left-wing perspective. Today, I'm reviewing Call of Duty 2. Video games can serve as a medium for communicating stereotypes, ideology, and even propaganda. World War II themed video games, particularly those written and directed by Americans, often incorporate anti-communism. This approach offers a biased interpretation of historical events. For instance, Call of Duty 2 portrays Western military forces as unequivocal heroes who defend the status quo and protect the world from evil. In contrast, the Soviets are depicted as reluctant allies, often characterized by their inefficiency in logistics and organization, and their cruel disregard for human life.
Why are we using potatoes instead of real grenade?
Because real grenades are valuable. In fact, they are worth a lot more than you are.
Of course, Comrade Commissar, my mistake.
It is a fact that the Call of Duty developers have worked with the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. The Call of Duty franchise flaunts its agenda, namely creating a positive association with the US military in its players' minds. In the words of Marx and Engels, it is a mere training to act as a machine. This, according to Althusser, is called an ideological state apparatus. This uses media, among other things, to further an ideology, creating a false consciousness and hiding the real world from view.
Threatened with execution if they retreat, the Soviet troops have no choice but to push forward into the bloodbath.
Saying that the Soviets were threatened with execution if they fled is lying by omission, because at that time, your superior officer could kill you for desertion in any country's army.
Surrounded on all sides by Soviet forces, many German soldiers trapped in the city, who are now literally starving and running out of ammunition, continue to fight regardless, fearing that the Soviets will execute those who attempt to surrender.
Notice how this clip chooses to highlight the Nazi perspective rather than the Soviets, who were the ones under siege and an American ally at the time. When the Soviets surround the Nazis in Stalingrad, the game puts the Nazi perspective to the forefront about how they fear death upon surrender. Why does the game do this? I say it's to fearmonger about how evil communists are, how they can't be trusted when you wave a white flag. The fact of the matter is that they did surrender eventually. Remember, kids, when the Nazis fell, America actively incorporated them through Operation Paperclip. Similar to Reconstruction after the Civil War, denazification only lasted a short while until the US reversed course and allowed the fascists back in power. This was done because the American state was convinced that West Germany would be a good ally in their fight against communism. In the words of System of a Down, we all live in a fascist nation.
And we don't live in a fascist nation!
However, all that being said, it is incredibly fun to bust into a room full of Nazis and buck them all down from the hip with one of their shitty MP40s like I'm some action hero. It also gives you the ability to pull off every Antifa super soldier's dream of punching a Nazi to death in the street. I had a lot of fun killing Nazis over and over again while listening to their screams of fear about oncoming communist victory. The game can be incredibly infuriating on higher difficulties. Its controls feel intuitive. However, coming back to it after playing modern shooters may feel slightly tricky because you don't have the ability to sprint, which is actually the most historically accurate thing about this game. Humans didn't learn to run until September 2nd, 1945. Unlike the soldiers of the era, the pacing of this game is actually rather balanced. There are run and gun sections, holdout sections, and several scripted events.
Tanks up above! Get down!
As long as you don't throw a smoke grenade, the game runs better than your player character. On the other hand, the UI and main menu are smooth and responsive. The minimap makes it very easy to find your way without making it too obvious how to get there. Every time I boot up the game, I'm hit with the nostalgia of the early 7th gen graphics, and the pleasure of knowing that soon I'll be part of the great patriotic war once again. In closing, Call of Duty 2 is a great game as long as you keep a critical eye. Remember that an American perspective is an American perspective, and you'll have a wonderful time too. Thanks for watching Leftbox 360. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to keep up to date with all of our content.